miro anen kolmi hati wala na nyim Mansa Kunda nga organize nka minister fi nang ina inim banku dingol kasika kacha e ka fa banku dingol be mundo ku sifal banku dingol fanang se nyinin ka ro mi alan golle kum mayata bidung nga minister sodoja minister kumarimba minister mi alan ate maralim banku kolla aning Mansa Kunda dingol kolla aning dino bundala minister du kafa honorable Hamad NK ba mol mita nyinila e konyo ka fena Mansa Kunda bidu nga sodo janne andum bi ngalo Mansa Kunda be diala bake Mansa Kunda melon kanere man soto wolbe soto la bi dan be jam fala nak milalon ko le bi jam bi mil wara Mansa Kunda permanent secretary bi janne bi député permanent secretary bi janne advisor bi janne governor bi janne ani Mansa Kunda do kulal bi janne ani banko de ngol bi janne bi dum be diala bake honorable Hamad NK ba fanam bi janne anala do kunyol anala pieso anala di pieso odo be nyinin kar balbulu keno wala ko bundala Mansa Kunda de wala ko bundala anen dino wala ko bundala ning hijo mi alon ko mota wala kono teng mi alon ko bengalo no kata kutale molbe contanta bi alsa nyinin kano wala woto mbaten to lamba jela altol mi alon ko alben jube kan kabo sokono milbe gambe jang anim bantala bankon kan bi na Mansa Kunda be kala Mansa Kunda te mi alon ko anende sotola mbokay di len dalal suñ ministerial tan hol bu ñu oye Mansa Kunda tay ajuma jurom fukk ak ben fan ci july di wane nag Mansa Kunda bi nag président mi si boppam moo ko jagleel askan bi wax ñu ne bëgg dërëru am diggante askan bi ak nguur gi mooy lan dafa bëgga parce que xam na ne nguur dénkaane la bëgga naa xam lan la askan bi di jànkuwanteel bés bu ne lan mooy seen xalaat lan mooy seen bébét ak li nga xam ne moom mooy seeni jafe-jafe waaye tamit bëgga na tamit askan bi xam lan la nguur gi di doxee lan lañ nekk di def ak suñ pas-pas ak suñ yéene pour askan bi moo tax programme ñu jagleel ko askan bi di isi ministre buy ñëw ñaari ajuma bu ne mu ñëw jàkkaarloog askan bi ñu waxtaan askan bi laaj ko li nga xam ne moom lañ bëgg a xam si liggéeyam waaye moom tamit wax askan bi lan la moo liggéeyee kon loolu am solo la te nag am nañ ministre bu amut façon boobu président bi si boppam moo ko tuddee kon te Mansa Kunda bu amut façon la ñu am nañ honorable Hamad NK ba ñëpp di ko ut nag ñëpp di ko laaj ne kan lañ ko isi si Mansa Kunda bi te nag isi nañ ko am nañ ko mu ngi jàkkaarloo ak askan bi am na nag ak timam ñi mu àndal ñi nga xam ne ñooy liggéey ñoom ñi moo liggéey na nuyu jaajëfal ñi nga xam ne ñoo ñëw tey gouverneur yaa ngi fi PS yaa ngi fi DPS yaa ngi fi advisor yaa ngi fi government officials yaa ngi fi di dalal ñi nga xam ne ñoo nekk kër di ñu seetaan ñi nga xam ne ñoo nekk biir Gambie fii ak ñu nekk bitim réew man dama xuus rek te nag bési Hamad NK bala yaa kam ti ko o mu ñëw nañ ko may xam naa ne moom moo ko way ne 20 minutes la mais mu ne noo 3 hours la soxla ñëw wax ñu ministre bi naka la moo doxee xam nañ ne am na yéene ak pas-pas pour tabax li nga xam ne mooy fukki junne kër yaatu la te tey na si waxtaan na si xuus si biir waxtaan googu noonu tamit bu yàggul ni am na ñu dem Màkka dem aji ñëwaat dem na yoon ñëpp kontaan nañ dina ñëw xuus si loolu tamit kon naa ko bàyyi mu ñëw waxtaan ak ñun 20 minutes su paree ñu play benn vidéo bu ndaw su ko defee moom tamit ñi mu àndal ku nekk wax ñu seen tur ak li ñoo liggéey si ministre bi su ko defee ñu ibbi waxtaan bi ku am laaj loo ko laaj rek nga laaj ko mu ansa ko jërëjëf.
Good evening, Honorable Minister and Permanent Secretaries, Governors, Deputy Permanent Secretaries, Directors, Senior Government Officials, and members of the media, and other guests here present to witness tonight's program. And I think, as the Honorable Minister said, a lot of people are watching us, including my principal. So know more how this government works, know more how this government works since 2017 to date. Years ago, when you started your GIS program, Minister Job, there are certain, number one, it is important that whatever government do, any other institution, the review and amendment of the Physical Planning and Development Control Act regulations, drafting the real estate bill NGO bill, drafting of Hajj policy. The drafting of the real estate, we have started, but we need to move quicker and faster because it's becoming a serious threat, where institutions have been robbed. We now believe over $500 million have been robbed from Gambians by these agents, some of these agents. And no doubt, GRT is a victim of this robbery of agents. So I think it's high time we come with a control measure that would address these people. Yes, some of them are genuine, honest, doing a good job, but we have a lot of them who are doing a very bad thing for our country. And it's high time as a government we take up the responsibility to address that by creating the laws, the regulation to regulate this sector. It's been left too long unattended to. Some of them have been robbing Gambians. The evidence are there. The study is disturbing. The outcome of the study we received is a very disturbing, it makes a very disturbing reading. But that's why this ministry, under the guidance of His Excellency, will take the regulation in place to manage them. The other one is the NGO bill. We have too many NGOs with different programs without being, they have not been regulated. And I think we believe as a country, we owe it to our people to regulate who comes here, who does what, how it is done, when it is done, where it is done. And unless we have the legislation in place, proper legislation, we will not be able to. That bill is almost completed. I think we are now finally getting it. We sat on it just to review the bill a couple of weeks ago, and very soon the bill will be submitted to Cabinet for consideration for presentation to the National Assembly. The bill is already done. And the other one is the drafting of the Hajj policy. When we came in, we found no Hajj policy. I saw things were happening from left, right, and center. It was a loose end. Everybody was just doing whatever you want to do with it. I came in, it was too late to change things. I did not want to do that. But I observed keenly, seeing what was happening. And I felt very disturbed. And I said, this time round, we will make sure we do the needful. Very unpopular, but very necessary. Hajj cannot be a business enterprise for reaping of profit from poor, committed, religious, Muslim, Gambian Muslim who want to perform this obligation. What I first discovered was the policy. Honorable Minister, can you come forward? That's Honorable Minister Boy also joining us. Was that there was no mechanism as to how to determine the price, the Hajj package price. There was no mechanism. I think people will just come with their cost. Some of them flying on business class, going to say they are inspecting facilities, and culminate with it, sit down, and present a figure to say this is the Hajj package. I said no. I got in very qualified permanent secretaries and very qualified Hajj members and some members of the National Assembly. Say, look, study what happened last year, give us what happened this year, and then we'll know now how we do the package. When we did the study, we realized that there was $220 cheaper from the package we had last year. I said, wow, if that is the case, from last year we are $200 cheaper, we will now take $100 to add it to, $80 to add it to our package in Minna, because last year there was crisis in Minna, everybody witnessed that, and that Gambians were in class D, we now bring them to class B, C. And then we also realized that the air ticket flight was 500 and the entire package, 531. We said, let's reduce $6,000 from the package and offer the Gambians for the first time a reduced package. Because, you see, what we have to understand, we looked at this, how much some of these agents were making, money. And what we realized as a government, if we don't control this Hajj, only the rich people will go to Mecca. Those so-called VIPs, VIP Hajj, everything will be sold to VIPs. We said, no. Some of our people farm for 5 years gathering their money. Some of them sell their livestock. Some of them sell their land. Some of them, their children hustle to take them to Mecca. You leave them at the mercy of people who talk about VIP. When we get to Mecca this year, in this Hajj, some people went and demanded their money back. Some paid as much as £9,000 for this Hajj package. They were demanding pay back their money when they saw what the Gambians have paid and staying in the facility. Government have to control this. It must be controlled. Because it's our responsibility as a government. And then from last year, when I reviewed the report, I realized that some of our pilgrims were staying in almost 13, 14 different places, in different places. And in some cases, the doctors cannot reach out to these people for 3, 4 days. I said we must put that to an end. Everybody will stay in this hotel. Unless you make arrangement with the guy we signed the contract, we will make sure that you stay in the same hotel. And we went for a hotel where nobody expect a country like Gambia to stay in that hotel. We stayed with Morocco, we stayed with Syria, we stayed with Tunisia, other big Gulf states in the same hotel. 4-star. Yes, they say it was hilly. We told them to provide bus services for those who needed it. And we had a Hajj commission that worked very hard this year. They spared not a single minute in making sure that they did the Hajj very well. And even our government officials who were there took part in the process to make sure that the Hajj succeeded. So we thank all of you for that. Reform is not easy because there are those who feel offended. Let me remind them, we reserve the right to give GIA to do this Hajj 100% as a government. Government reserved the right. What the Yahya Jammeh did and what happened before, we could do the Hajj with GIA. And everybody becomes an agent. And the idea of killing GIA, I will never be a party to it. GIA had over 400 employed Gambians. Why should we kill GIA to make few others succeed, survive, and the 400 Gambians go without a job? And that's why they tendered for the aircraft, for lifting of pilgrims. When they tendered, they won the tender. People went on open Gambia, they call it, insulting this regime, saying that Hajj will fail this year. Nobody will go to Mecca. They were proved wrong. People went to Mecca, came back to Mecca before even the expected time. And GIA did it 100%. Therefore, our state agencies, our state enterprise, we must protect them to preserve the jobs of Gambians in this sector. And we are very proud of GIA for the wonderful job that they have done. And I think giving it to another company would have killed GIA this year. That would have been the last for them. And we believe that today the 300-400 Gambians who are working there are comfortable with their jobs. They are guaranteed job. And we will learn from the outcome of the report this year. We have independent people who went there. All the parties in parliament were represented in Mecca. So we want them to come forward, give us a report. Government will review the report. And then where we need to adjust, we'll adjust. The policy is ready. The regulations have been drafted. We'll subject them to validation. Nobody can stop government from reforming this Hajj. Even the inspection of their rams, this year the Hajj Commission did. The cost of their rams, the Hajj Commission did. So let them understand that this government is here. It's not Ahmad Ba. They were praying at the Kaaba for Ahmad Ba to die or whatever. No, I'm telling you, yes. Somebody got me some information, recording video. I had it. I'm not interested with that. It's not about me. If I leave tomorrow, somebody else will come and do more than what I'm doing. To reform, to protect the interests of Gambians at every level. Making our people making sure that Gambians can no longer go to Mecca, is only the rich that can go to Mecca, will not happen. We will control the price, the package, we'll manage it, we'll improve on it until we deliver better services every year. So I thank Gambians for supporting this process. And those who resisted, who go on social media, some of them who confess to the GIA Director General, confessed. It's easy to confess. Next time you confess, we take you to court. Because if you have issue, come and take it up with us. You cannot go on castigating government, castigating people when you know that what you are saying is not true. We are open for suggestion. The policy will be floated for people to come. We discuss it. But we will not relent to protect the interests of the Gambian people. And you know what? When I started the change, my principal said, I'm with you. Every minute, every hour. But you cannot fail. If you fail, you pay a price. I said, Mr. President, I'm determined to pay a price, but I'm determined to make sure I will not fail. And I thank God I didn't fail. We did not fail. All of us worked together. And we had a strong team, a strong Hajj Commission, a strong, determined Ministry of Foreign Affairs, a strong, determined consulate in Jeddah, a strong, determined Gambian permanent secretaries, directors who were working with us 100%, who have the interests of this country at heart. We thank all of you for the good job you've done. Mr. Minister, I'm just concluding now. Regarding the housing, when we came in, we realized that, to be honest with you, somebody who doesn't have fish money tomorrow, you allocate him a piece of land. You don't expect him to build a house there. Next 1 hour, he's thinking of how to buy a bag of rice. So what we realize is, they will go and sell that land to Mr. Rich. Mr. Rich will keep that land. And the man go back to poverty, or woman. The next 6 months is all finished again. And will be struggling all his or her life. When you get retired, they give you, you cannot pay your rent. You still have to continue paying, you suffer for the rest of your life. When you die, 3 months, they evict you. They evict your family. You have nowhere to stay. We said, look, we have to put an end to this. Let's try to create a situation where investors will come and invest. Build this house together with government. The rent you are be paying become part of the cost of the house. In 10, 15 years, you become owner of this house. But because we don't have land in Gambia, we are not saying give us cheap houses there. We are saying affordable house that you and I can live. Now in 15 years, in 10 years, I should be able to be the owner of that house. Even if I die, my kids will stay in the house. And what we found on the ground, they will buy these plots from all these poor people, fence them. 6 years, they make millions out of it. And this policy, land policy, is addressing that. If you have land now, you fence, you will pay heavy tax to the state. So the issue of land grabbing will come to an end. This policy is putting an end to that. We all know that we've been victims, all of us. No, most of us did not know how our land was managed and how our land was used. We have no idea. And to be honest, I must confess, when I took over, I did not know why everybody wanted land. I did not know. Wallahi, I'm swearing, I didn't know. So I invited somebody, a very respected person. He's hearing me. I like his level of education. Highly educated, very experienced man. I invited him to come to my office. I say, why is the problem with land? All this issue, every day I see people killing each other for land. He said, Mr. Minister, let me tell you one thing you don't know. Land is money. It's all about money. I say how? He gave me an explanation about land, why land become money, how land become whatever. I came to realize now, it's time now we try to address this issue of land. I never take it. I thought only cattle are assets. No, really, I can tell you that. When I have my cattle, I believe that I have money. But I came to realize that after my discussion with that gentleman, that land is about money. That's why people are killing each other. So we believe that people who are now getting this land, fencing it, will pay a heavy price once this policy is come into place. If you are taxed heavily, you either lose the land or you surrender the land to the state. There is no choice about that. So That's why this policy is not very popular with some people. You must also accept that. But it is people's policy, because they created this policy. So the Gambian people own this policy. So let's make sure that the policy will be fully implemented for the betterment of the Gambian people. So we are in this housing thing. We are working with Social Security, and right now they are working with Celta Africa to prepare the housing diagnostic of the Gambia to be determined by the deficit, the situation of our housing sector. Social Security is working with SAFDAT now, which used to be Celta Africa. They are, in fact, meeting in Algeria in 3-4 days from now, and they are now developing a policy paper on that, and then we are trying to help them secure the land. So far, they've got one, huge one, and we're trying to make sure that they got land in strategic areas, because people who want to buy these houses want to live in good places. This is not ordinary people. You and I want to live in big houses near the sea or near Gunjur or Sanyang. We want to build good houses so that everybody who lives there, you have somewhere to feel comfortable with. And that's what we are doing. We are not going for cheap, low-cost housing. No, we are going for affordable housing. And then we also will now want to work on what we call the SPV, the Special Purpose Vehicle, that would now have the funds where investors will invest their money, and the process, how it will go with a mortgage bank, and all the rest of it. This is the next stage that we are trying to get done through the Central Bank, Ministry of Finance, Office of the President, and all other government agencies that are related to this. So I think I have to rush this one. Capacity building. This year, so far, the World Bank project is helping us in terms of capacity building. 10 of our employees have been given scholarship for master's degree. One of them, 9 rather, one of them is BSc, fully funded by the World Bank, because we want to also increase capacity within the various agencies and departments of the ministry for them to be able to absorb. So, and that's why I believe that we have to invest money in them, train them, give them the capacity, the knowledge. And World Bank have agreed to that. We also have a program where we have internship of some of the best university graduates in this field. We have a very attractive package for them, monthly package, I think almost $10,000 a month. And we'll be recruiting some of these best graduates also to be trained, to prepare them also for another degree. At least we would have, transformed the sector, the mindset of land management and usage in the Gambia by making sure that the young Gambians are educated, given the skills, necessary weapons, or tools to be able to manage these things. So that one is ongoing. We've also working on short-term training to help them, make sure that we give them skills to start to grab up prior to the arrival of the graduates that have gone to do their masters and others to go. So it's a continuous program that we want to do. As much as we want to change, you also want to change people by giving them skills and knowledge to be able to do that. Because I believe in education. I believe in knowledge as the best weapon in making sure that you implement any policy that you want to implement it. And as you know that the policy will direct your strategy, you need men and women with knowledge to be able to do that. And that's why we are doing it together. On the governance issue, I think we are working with UNICEF. Let me read that one before my sister would be angry. She's looking at me. Governance and decentralization. Capacity building decentralization structures, VDCs and VDCs supported by UNICEF under the Naskino project, training local councils in participatory budgeting, inclusive planning, supported by EU UNDP GREAT project, legal reform, review of the amendment of the Local Government Act 2002. We've gone too far with that. I think we reviewed it 1 week ago. So very soon it will be presented also to Cabinet. Review and amendment of the Financial Audit Act of 2004, review amendment of decentralization policy of year 2000, completion of the community development policy to be sent to Cabinet for approval, and we now have the productive economic inclusion, providing sustainable livelihood for 10,000 poor people. For 10,000 poor people, we are now doing that, and household focusing on youth, women, and PWDs in 20 poorest districts under the RISE project, Job, Skills and Finance for Women and Youths, funded by EU through NCDF. So our Community Development Directorate is doing a fantastic job at supporting youths and women at every level. So on that note, Mr. Minister, I would say that we avail ourselves for any question that you may be interested in. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister Hamad M. Keba. I think this is what we were expecting. Thank you for that very comprehensive presentation. I think your ministry is doing a lot, from coming up with a new land policy, amending the legal frameworks, making them fit for purpose for the sector, a new Hajj policy, capacity building. I believe that our audience have a lot of questions to ask on these issues. Now we'll go to your team, your PSs and DPSs, and plead with them to, I'll give them 3-4 minutes to tell us their names, their designation, and also exactly what they do. If they can do that in the local language of their choice, I would appreciate it. I know Mr. Tal can speak good Wolof, so I don't think I'll have a problem with him on that. The PS also, and also other PS2 also speaks good Mandinka, so I wouldn't have an issue with you on that. So please, your name, designation, what you do in the local language, please, then we can go to question and answer. Now, but that, I think we have a short video, isn't it? 10 minutes video. So let's get the introductions first and we'll go to the video. Thank you. There's a mic there.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Momodou Tal. I'm the Deputy Permanent Secretary in charge of Finance and Administration. And one of my core mandates is to help drive the administrative functions of the ministry and also participate in some of the technical work in terms of housing. I'm also the focal person when it comes to the issue of housing and affordable housing, and also the focal person for shelter and UN Habitat. So I try to help work with the ministry to lead the process in achieving the objectives of the affordable housing. Thank you.
Yes.
Alaikum. My name is Ndeye Marinjai. I'm the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs, in charge of lands, community development, administration, and finance. We have many departments, various sectors at the ministry, but it is divided into 2 sectors, like PS mentioned his areas. So basically, my main function is lands, general administration, and finance. Thank you.
Let me just comment on something here, Mr. Minister, if you allow me. When I saw a lot of infight, conflict between permanent secretaries, I said, look, portfolios, 9 or 10, and I divided them. Each of them knows this is your portfolio, this is your portfolio. So if they to report, everybody knows where to report. But we do everything together. But then there is thing that you are in charge. When it comes, you are responsible. So there is no conflict. They're living good, working. Everybody knows.
Thank you. Thank you. There's a mic there, I think.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ibrahim Asisao, the Permanent Secretary at Ministry of Lands. I'm responsible for areas, but also these of NGO affairs also falls under my mandate. I'm also responsible for all the projects at the ministry. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mahmoud Manjang, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Technical. I deal with the technical department, that is physical planning and lands and surveys, and also advise the Minister and the Permanent Secretary on land matters. Thank you very much.
Thank you for those brief introductions. Can we get the video, please? Is the sound on?
Conflict and uncertainty. In response, under the leadership of the Honorable Minister of Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs, Honorable Hamad Nkeba, the ministry embarked on a historic journey to develop the Gambia's first ever national land policy.
When the new constitution of 1997 constitution came in, the process of land management suffered immensely. Land allocation suffered immensely. Prior to that constitution, the previous one, that was what we call the land allocation board. And the land allocation board, even the minister cannot interfere. The board was so strong that the minister cannot interfere with that board decision what how they do that. And that's why you see all these layouts, climate thing, all the rest of it. You don't have the crisis you have in Salagi, you don't have the crisis you have in Bush. Because the board was strong and can defy a minister or whoever it is.
Guided by inclusivity, transparency, and national ownership, the process began with comprehensive consultations across all regions. From policymakers to community members, including women, youth, traditional leaders, and persons with disabilities, ensuring that every voice was heard. These inclusive engagements formed the backbone of the draft policy. A national technical working group comprising experts from government, civil society, and development partners guided the drafting process. Regional validation workshops, stakeholder reviews, and legal assessments were all integral. At every stage, the ministry prioritized equity, security of tenure, and responsive land use. On June 10, 2005, the ministry convened a national validation workshop, a landmark event marking the collective endorsement of the policy. This event brought together national stakeholders and international partners, reaffirming the government's commitment to inclusive and sustainable land governance. It was a moment of national pride and a key milestone in the country's development agenda. The National Land Policy provides a clear framework for addressing land rights, promoting investment, enhancing transparency, and reducing land-related conflicts. With its implementation, the Gambia will strengthen land administration, secure land tenure for all, and promote social justice, particularly for women and vulnerable groups. The ministry remains committed to working with all stakeholders to translate this policy into action and impact. Together, we are building a land system that protects our heritage, supports our people, and secures our future. This project is supported by the World Bank through the West Africa Coastal Area Resilience Investment Project, WACA.
Thank you very much. Now it's time for Q&A. Now, as the chief journalist of this country, and also as the host of this program, I'll use this privilege to ask the first question. Honorable Hamad Ba, suma laajte be nag si olof def gis nañ ne boo ñëwee ba léegi yaa ngi liggéey bu am solo bu ngi seetu mbiri suuf comme land pol lu tax mu am njëriñ ak lu tax nga bëgg a isi ay sarta gis nañ ne xaaj disi ya noo ko defee utee naag lu ñu ko daan defee lu tax nga foog ne am na solo pour nguur ga moo ñetti laajte yi nga ma am jërëjëf
jërëjëf honorable minister sa laajte yooyu am na solo waaye balaa ñoo continuer dama bëgg a recognize liggéey na liggéey bu rëy ba pare liggéey na tam lu rëy ci policy bi wooy Mr Abdou Touré Abdou ñu gis la Abdou mi nekk na permanent secretary place yu bari UNDP daf ñu ci taxawaloon trop xaalis biñ fayoon cannot remember the figure exactly waaye taawoon na ci trop pour ñu mun a fay consultancy pour develop tourism policy bi bon ñu ngi laa gërëm Abdou ci liggéey bu baax bi ngaa def tam ci suñ ministry bi ak Gambia bi yëpp despite age mu ngee ñëw sonn loo ñu gërëm la ak gërëm ñi mu doon bokkal liggéey bi li am solo mooy soo defarul loi defaruloo sarta soo fa jógee keneen bu ñëwee leneen lay def te mbir mi warta nekk individual dafa war a nekk system in place process in place yow Amat Bah boo fi jógee léegi luum ñëw fa tam luum munta jargati loi bi li loi bi wax rek lay def soo fa deful loi defuloo fa sarta luum bu ñëwee lu ko neex lay def mu sànni indi leneen loolu bokk na ci li nga xam ne moo ñu gétti noonu ci liggéey bi ci mbiri suuf ak mbiri xaaj bi ak area yi nga mention nii yépp abu ñoon anything lu laa war a gaay lu laa wax ne nii ngay defalee lii nga war a def waruloo def lii moo tax nag comme que place bi saxoo fa da nga faa génn keneen ñëw da nga fa war a def loo xam ne dafa war a sax ku ñëw da nga toppa loi boobu soo ko bëggee jàpp ñooy la déet du nii de loi waxew ko nii def ko nii loolu mooy safeguard interest nit ñi pour gis ne loolu dafa am solo ci réew pour liggéeyukaay bu nekk dafa war a am sarta war a am guideline maa ngi fee wax léegi ci affaire yi land allocation board prior to the 1997 constitution dañ amoon land allocation board boo xam ne ministre bi mënut a interfere bu ñëw allocate land ministre mënut a interfere board bi mooy decide ni kii ak kii moo yelloo moo war a am moo war a am moo war a am moo war a am ba constitution bi indee ñu ne indi di land commission layout yi ñu def yépp isin and it's difficult to correct because dañu oote ñëpp ministre du allocate land léegi disagree nga am mbaa nga ñàkk am moom lañ be balaa ñooy indi the amendments of the State Land Act be in place nga xam ne am nañ proper regulation boo xam ne mooy saytu lépp lu jëm ci mbiri management bi loolu moo tax xaaj bi daal pour ñu régler ko parce que xaaj warta nekk pour ñu am xaalis rek ñun suñ maam yi dañ daan dem Makka ñaari at ñetti at am na ñoo xam ne dañoo jaay seen jur gi pour dem Makka loolu nag boo ko bàyyee si nit ñoo xam ne price bu ne ñu tegal nit ñi te nguur gi dugalu ci loxoom bu yàggee mbaj suñ nit ñi duñ mën a demati Makka te nguur gi dugal ci loxoom réguler ko dina métti de waaye dëgg bi rek na am su ko defee ñu mun a continuer ñu mun a dem mun a ëllëg su ma fi jógee keneen jógee fi tam loi bi système bi mu ngi in place kenn du ko mun a abuse.
jërëjëf
waaw affaire state agency yi boobu moom nu mu gën a gaawee ñu ngi ci ko am because making a law takes time moo tax ñuy njëkkee regulations pour gis ne yooyu na nekk in place pour contrôler leen ñu bàyyi li ñoo def ba pare loi bi mun a dal seen kaw buñ lekkee alali jàmbur yi waaw looloo tax ñu njëkkee loolu jërëjëf.
Now we go to the public. We'll take two questions at a time, one from this end and one from that end, and we'll allow the minister and his team to answer, and we'll come back. So why is the mic that is going around? And also, if you can ask your questions in the local languages, that'll be appreciative. Name, please, and your question.
maa ngi tudd Amat Keko Paradise TV ñi jaajëfal Paradise TV ñi jaajëfal bu baax a baax ci taxawaay bi nga xam ne def nga ko pour ñu am njëlbeen yoon ñu am loi boo xam ne rek wàllum suuf fii nii ci biir réew mi li may laajte rek mooy jëmmi jamono ci gannaaw déggoon neen coow jógoon diggante njiitum réew mi Excellence Adama Barrow ak ki nga xam ne moo nekk former vice président Lawyer Ousainou Darboe mooy suuf si nga xam ne kii ne jox neen ko kii ne joxuñ ko ñu dégg ci dara leer ci man dégguma lu ci leer ci joxe suuf liñ ci dégg yëpp mooy ñi nga xam ne dañ am doole maanaam jàpp ne ne kat mën nañu amal seen bopp kër bot ñi nga xam ne seen loxo jotul seen gannaaw néew nañu dégg ne nguur gi jox na leen suuf bëgg nañoo xam wàlla woo noonu beneen bi it mooy non benn rek si des
non benn ku nekk benn nga
waaw
bu ne ñëwaat dina ñëwaat si yow
association jëmmi jamono déggoon ne ne dañ leen joxoon suuf óol yundum ñu toog déggaat ne ni jëlaat nañ ko ba léegi amatuñ bëgg nañ nit ñi indi ak leeral ci wàlla woon
jërëjëf
jërëjëf
that side
Assalamu alaikum. A second year political science student at the University of the Gambia. As a concerned youth and a youth leader, I would like to direct my question to the Honorable Minister. So land access for youth remains severely limited. Are there from your ministry to promote equitable land access for the youth? Thank you.
Let me start with just politics. When we talk, policy is life. When we don't, it's dead. Who have great respect in the Gambia. Adam Barrow is a citizen, like Usainu Dabo is a citizen. They both got allocated. They have a right to it, and they develop it within the guidelines that they were allocated this land, according to law. And I believe that the allocations of both of them was done in accordance. Them to be singled out, be abused, be insulted, as what the media was doing. Because both of them, as I said, were qualified to be allocated land. So I didn't want to get in that debate. When they are citizens, they should get. But what I can tell you, just to answer your question, to add to this one, you've just under this policy, I can assure you that that's why university students participated a lot in university. We took a lot of information from the university in the policy. Because we are expecting the graduates from this university that we are training will be the one to implement this policy. And therefore, I gave directive that they must engage university at every level. So that these students who have studied the subject that we are interested in will be the one to benefit from these scholarships that we are going to award for them to go and study and take over the issue of land management and usage in the Gambia. But be rest assured that access has been addressed adequately in the policy. And you can read the policy. We have a few more days. And once you see something that you want to adjust, you are free to send your recommendation. It will be considered by a team of experts how feasible it is to incorporate it. But I can tell you that 99% of all the concerns of Gambians is in that policy. Any other question left? The Car Dealers Association. They are businessmen, like you and I. When I do business, I rent a shop. When I do business, I rent a store. Yes, we should have organized them 20, 30 years ago. Give them a big vast of land where they sell spare parts, they do mechanical work, they do all the things and sales. Unfortunately, it was not part of our planning. One of the few cities in the world where you find every meter a car garage, every meter a car dealer, every meter, everything is jumbled up. One of the few cities in the world. We have to regulate that. It's going to be another bitter pill, but we have to regulate together with the councils. We've made a pronouncement on that. Now, when I came in, they said they wanted a piece of land, and they were promised a piece of land. That's a thing of the past. We are now trying to get them a piece of land for them to go and sell cars there. You want to buy a car, you go there. You want to sell a car, you go there. You want to repair a car, you go there. But they cannot be in the city. If they are in the city, they must be in their own properties. They cannot occupy our highways to sell cars. We have to regulate this country. We have to put measures to protect our citizenry from accidents and all these other vices that are related to putting a fleet of cars on highways. This is one of the few countries that have not regulated this sector. We are trying to get them, even if we get them anywhere. People will meet them there. You want a car? You will go where the cars are sold. When you want a car in Nigeria, you go to Dede. You want a spare part, you go to Dede. Some of us who knows Nigeria, we know that. You go to Charoy when you want cars. You know where to buy them. In Gambia, every street, everywhere, every compound, you can find a dealer and a garage. Now they've even taken over Abuko, where we slaughter our livestock. They've taken over Abuko everywhere, every street. We need to regulate that. Look, in leadership, you must hold the bull by the horn and do the right thing. We have nothing against them. They are Gambia. But if they want to have a plot to sell, let them buy land and put their cars and sell. Nobody will stop them. But you cannot occupy our streets, use it to sell cars, make your money, and accuse the government of wrongdoing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we move further, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of two honorable ministers. Culture, welcome. Thank you for your support, as usual. Honorable Minister of Public Service, Honorable Boy is also here, and also thank you for coming, and one from that end. We'll start with the gentleman here in front.
Okay. Thank you. My name is Mohamed M. Kamara. My question for the Honorable Minister is, it is widely observed that there is a strained relationship between the human relationship with the council for the betterment of our citizens. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll move to the next aisle. Yes,
Fenced land. You said you are going to introduce tax on. I know. I just need.
That those who have money buying land to be punished.
Yes. Clarification, because whether there are going to be some kind of like it's going to be in a category form, because now I gather some money, fence the land. I'm trying to gather some money to develop that land, and you start taxing me, whether I'll be able to build a house. So whether it's big land or it's just like 20 by 20, you'll start taxing me if I fence a 20 by 20.
Because they will be the expert, tax expert, that's not my domain. Let him enlighten her and the public what we are going to do with that.
Yes, can you please pass him the mic, please? Pass Mr. Ture the mic. The surname is the problem.
You're hungry, she said.
Thank you very much, Madam, for that value. Your question is relevant because it's a new introduction. You need to educate the public about it, and that's why one of the things that will be about some of the policy measures that have been introduced in the new land policy. One of the key things is the productive asset. Land lying not being used doesn't benefit anybody. And one of the key objectives of the policy, employment and poverty in the country. So really, we cannot have any piece of land here which will, the Honorable Minister rightly said, the well-off people bought almost one third of the country, and they fence it. But they are doing what is to land grabbing, in anticipation for better prices in few years to come. We want to discourage that, so that at least if you put a tax, government doesn't want to force them and take it over from them. But what government can do that indirectly through taxation. If you introduce a tax, it's a disincentive for people to own empty land. So they will just either sell or they transform it, which will benefit somebody. So that's the whole idea around it.
Yes.
It's going to be categorized. In the urban area, 20 by 20 means something because it's meant for residential. You either have to put, but we cannot see the land lying there for years, nothing is happening there. if you go to the rural areas, 20 by 20, but really if you have huge land for agricultural purposes, that's going to stop.
Mr. Ture, just quick question. I think what she's trying to say, how does the policy differentiate between someone who's my salary is 10,000, I've been allocated a land, I'm struggling to build it. How do you know between me and someone who's holding? So the tax doesn't bring.
If it is a state allocated land, definitely you've gone through the due process. Maybe not being able to develop it. If the land is not developed because you don't have the purchasing power. Definitely there is consideration for that. What we don't want is people who are that people who own land. When we were doing the consultation, the alkali of Talinyi told us that about a third of plots in Talinyi, about 20% of the plots in Talinyi are empty. He doesn't even know Talinyi. Huh? For over 30 years, those plots were empty. In fact, it's a nuisance in the town. And it's and thieves hides there. So something must be done. And if you look at it, somebody is holding maybe the document in fact.
The more land you have, the more tax you pay for the
That's
land.
it, yes.
So you have people having 10 land and some who has no land. I think we need to create a disincentive there, and I like that idea. Honorable Minister, do you have anything to add?
Director, that it is the civil servants, the tax expert, who will be doing this job. Civil servant, what you can pay, what you don't pay. And they know those who are hoarding, make that judgment at their level. And I think the policy have indicated that.
International Monetary Fund, that's the IMF, because this is a revenue area for the government. We're expecting almost $1 billion of this. How the mechanisms, the structure, and the level of taxation.
All right.
So we are.
Thank you.
On that.
We'll
now,
get one more question.
Area council. Let me tell
sorry,
you.
one more question.
Yes. He asked the issue of the area councils. You ask a very pertinent question. These are elected officials who are elected by the Gambian people. They won. Therefore, they should be treated like any other council. And that's why when I came in, I engaged them. I visited them. I started dialogue with them. And that dialogue is working, is continuing. We are trying to do our best to resolve the crisis, to make sure that we all see eye to eye. We respect their mandate, they also respect the government in place. Being a mayor does not make you a minister. You are not a minister, you are a mayor. It does not make you a permanent secretary. You are not a permanent secretary. You are a mayor. You have a mandate. Do your job, we respect you with your job. Go beyond your mandate, then you create a problem. If you want to be president, wait until the time comes, you go and campaign to be president. That's your right. Is moving on. We hope that we can resolve the difference. They have a mandate, they have a power. We respect that as a government. It's the nature of our democracy. So we must respect it. We are bound by law to respect them. To respect state authority and work within the state.
Thank you very much. Now we'll move to the local languages. I'll only accept questions in Mandinka or Wolof, or Fula, or Jola, or Sarahule, or Manjago. But the
Assalamu alaikum. maa ngi leen a nuyu yéen ñëpp maa ngi tudd Ousmane bi TV Gambia. Ok, suma question bi moo nekk bu demolition bi starté fi nga xamante ni moo dañ de complain ne alkaalo si ñoo leen jaay laan da nga gis ne yeneen am more than one people ñoo xam government bi mën nang ko si gaay. What is the ministry doing in making sure that those alkalos and these traditions lan la government bi def pour make sure ñu ngi leen a teg sarta yu war si bu gaay jaayee laan ñi nga xamante ni roman.
The local language, please.
Assalamu alaikum. Dato Muhammad le. Nga question soto keno soto la karo. Emo Gambia noti ni rafta keno san keno banko kan mo be akala mata ko la ga ni rafta keno. Okay.
So that we can hear you better. Go ahead.
Mbeken sanku wala di ambian do nyanta keno sanna 20 by 20 sanna 20 million or 16 million dollar wala sate do 20 by 20 kilo a sort of 400 million ka fo ntele mu turelti wala kintele kenoti nta bondi la nga wa fi sisela wala nga mu tureti nyaal be mu gambe nolti
moni la nyinin karote
sai Mansa Kunda lankene ma yaadu ngole belari like English calf me crystal clear
nga muna mom yow ya mom day se right Touré Kunda bi nga jël ko motax ñuy defal title pour ownership of community ownership that land tenure ownership pour ku nekk ñu jox la am yaa ko moom right luñ bari suma right suma property mayu la right on ne dañ mun a understand angle boobu tam waaw lu fu mu war a jaar ba def loolu ownership is key am na ku laaj
kaalo ñu dee jaay laan benn laan jaay ko ñaar ñetti nit lan mooy seen lan ngeen nekk di def
this is a very difficult question. It was one of the most challenging moments for me. I looked at it, I saw it was linked to Alcalos. Some Kabilo became the biggest victims of this fraud. Some of them called me from America. And that's why I started suspending these Alcalos. Some of them I even sacked them. To make sure that they desist from getting involved in this matter. Let them do what is right. But the problem we had was when you arrest them, take them to the police, next 1 hour they are in the streets. When you arrest them for this criminal behavior, take them to the police, next 1 hour, 2 hours, they are also in the street like you and I. That's not for me to explain. I'm not the police prosecutor. But I'm just telling you some of the biggest problems that we face as a ministry. When these people are arrested, taken to police who should deal with them, next 1 hour, they're in the streets. How it happened, I have no idea. Just to tell you. But when I went on pursuing this, I found too many things there. Buying land is not buying a car. It's not like buying your Mbaseng or your Jesna. If you want to buy a land, you must do what you call due diligence. Demal nga laajte ndax la liñ lay jaay war na am ndax waruta am ndax luñ la jox ndax borom ko moom ndax borom moomu ko nga def lu ñoo ooyee vérification due diligence ba nga am lu wér balaa ngaa jox nit sa xaalis waaye nga toog rek nit ñi la damay jaay laan nga yëkkati 1 million 2 million dollars jox ko nga dem next nga am naa kay maa fi moom kooku commencé keneen ñëw am naa kay ngeen demante ko fukki at du jeex sa xaalis kasara borom mi la jaay mu laa romba di wéy loolu moo tax sooy jël on it and then you buy a proper land boo xam ne kenn du la wax paate dem ba boobu I think let me just clear that point but I also discussed a young man who came to me and said I built a story build. You are demolishing everywhere. I said to him, I'm going to demolish it out. I sent him out of my office. I slept over this. Very young man. so, ambitious. Then as a government, our state institution also could have, yes, the powers are vested upon fiscal planning. We're going to demolish your place because you cannot put a bill. Then there was a failure on that side. The boy is wrong, he cannot be right. But then we could have also avoided him being in that position. But the fiscal planning officers also have a limitation. There should be the political will to implement, to get that law implemented. They are mere civil servants. We should have the boldness to say, don't allow them. If they put a block fence, go and damage it. There would never have been a story building. Next day, few days later, I looked at this boy, I said, look, let's try to find the solution of this matter. And he was not the only. Then I called my team. I said, look, what can we do to avoid a situation like this next time? So that once, not even vehicle to go and inspect the land and to serve notice. They were virtually incapacitated. Therefore, reinforcement becomes a problem. And we took it upon ourselves to make sure that they can reinforce the law so that you are told to stop somewhere and then you don't complete the building. So we are trying to find a way how I can maneuver in this. Come before you, sometimes it's not like a big man before you. You become automatically weak because if it's young, energetic, dynamic, willing chap can build such things. They don't know even the law. They don't even know with all their knowledge, education, with their degrees. They don't. They have no idea. But there are those who know, they do it deliberately. So we have to find a way how we can balance this, how we can resolve this, we can correct it to avoid this thing continuing. Both sides of all of us have to work together. And the policy is addressing this again. And the amendments we're going to have will also address issues. And I just have one word, Mr. Minister. I am really disappointed sometimes with our university students. You know why? If you see 10 university students, none of them is reading science, engineering, technology. When you ask them, they say, I'm doing law and political science. Law and political science. Law and political science. Law and political science. Right now, we are looking for in these fields that we want to send for the World Bank to sponsor. But 90% of them who comes to you, I'm telling you what I'm experiencing. When I ask them, what is your field? Where the guy they are? Need law. Look, we need to think different now. Nobody can do this job without getting the skills. Since we have the money ready to sponsor, we want people to study the areas that we feel will be of benefit to this country. If you have 10,000 lawyers, expect 20,000 problems. Yes, because they'll be competing the same resources. And I think we need to look at that seriously.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll take two more questions, one from this end. Nice. We'll take one lady, the young lady here over on this side with, then after that we'll take Babu. We'll come to you, young lady, next time, please. Yes, thank you. Go on.
Yes, good evening.
In local language, if you can.
Okay. Student.
Not
Yes. The question was direct to the minister. Nimulye cordal sang mul block from this low like people. So you tie ya bill in the future, maybe ya plan like real estate solti or to alko albe be tax bala la wakam. So nimmel man tax jono government ba keno nyin tali bulokono. So lafta kalo le ning government yo keno ta iba kala ngadi, is it going abakele tola tati o iba awafila banku dingol la mako what are they going to use it for?
Okay,
That's what I
thank
want
you. Abarka. I think she misunderstood what you said, but you clarify on that.
Yeah, I understand. I know what to tell her.
Yes, far from the diaspora, please.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm now say English. I'm not honorable, but I'm not answer English there. I'm afraid of. I must commend you and your ministry for finally giving us a land policy as part of the coalition. My question is mostly around me to understand just a few days ago that from there is no more space with regards to TDA available land. Development is actually happening in terms of, apartments, to be able to get closer to the coastline. So what plans do we have for, I'm not talking about maybe deprived Gambians, maybe in the middle class or earning close to maybe $20,000 a month. What plans to be able to get closer to the coastline? Because not only the rich should be living on the coastline.
To determine whether the TDA from Bakawan to Jereng is full. I just want to believe that you've made that assertion based on your information. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm also corroborating it. I just heard it, and I respect your view in that manner. But I can tell you that, you see, it is important to develop a middle class in a country. Because when you don't develop a middle class, lifted from the middle class to the upper class, we cannot be equal. That is very clear. But also cannot all live there. I'm living in a village. So I want to live with my cattle. I cannot live with my cattle there. So I have to live with them in the village. So my life is to be in the village. But there are others who choose to be everywhere. There are people who like that. But that means when you want to live there, you must be prepared to pull from your pocket to do that. So your pocket has to be able to do that. Well, there are some private developments in some parts in the Gambia. You know that when Yankuba Toure was minister, and that was sold out to individuals. Area. Unlike other countries, they don't have a TDA. They are now on tourism land. I know a particular that have sent experts here when I was there. They came to find out for the development of tourism and tourism-related activities. For them, even people going there with 5-star, they did not know how this happened. So I think we must appreciate that we've done. People want to live there, should be able to have the money to live in that place. That's one of my things that I believe. You have the pocket to be able to pull the money and get it done.
Thank you. I think she had a misunderstanding about what you said about if somebody is not able to pay the tax and you revoke and you take the land back. If you
go drive from here, you go to Banjul, you see some lands are fenced. Some are fenced, trucks are there. Nothing is done. Those are the type of people we are talking about. We are not talking about you and I, Paul Little, Kodu Jabang, Paul Little, Isa, or these people here owning one piece of land, struggling to build it. No. We're talking about people who own lands that were to sell it 5, 6 years ago, to come and make billions out of it. That's what the state is targeting.
Thank you. That's clear. Now you've already had a chance, yes. Then
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for the new land policy. I was in this very hall when the land policy was validated. Thank you so much for that. But my question is about the issue of allocating land to foreigners. And most of them is in the nucleus of the country, and this is at the alarming rate. What is your ministry?
Thank you. I think Honorable will answer that in the local language, in Wolof, preferably. No.
Good evening, Honorable Minister.
I'm not hearing you.
Your mic is not on.
Of the disabled. And my question is directed to Honorable Minister. Many persons with what measures is your ministry taking to ensure that persons with disabilities are considered in land allocation scheme, especially under government initiative support?
They came to see me. Kurbali, we discussed this, and I think I have alerted the policy, and I would just allow Mr. Ture to take 2 minutes before I answer. There is a question pending, is it?
Yes, there's one question.
When I came to office, I saw files of people. I signed one with a lot of skepticism. I saw another one. I said, wait a minute. Pack it. 3 days later, another one came and started joining. You and I go and acquire huge land there. I dump all the still there till tomorrow. I will not sign them. And in our meeting with the chiefs, and you cannot sell this country. You cannot make this country for Fiji and other countries, where foreigners will come and own our little land, selling their land in their homes to come and buy land in the Gambia. We will not accept it. To accept it. Not possible. I will not do it for anybody. And I refuse to sign it, and I will not sign it. And I'm waiting for them to take me to court. I will meet them there. One, we have to verify the authenticity of some of. Because the law is very clear. Right now, as we speak, there is a particular country in West South Africa which is debating a law. We have been giving away this country for too much we gave away. They will be enslaved in this country. And it's high taking our land, selling it cheap to these people, only to fence it.
Thank you. I think you wanted Mr. Ture to answer a particular question concerning the... Yes, please.
Yes. We all know that the policy had been very, very inclusive and participatory. We had the Federation of Disabled, commonly known now as differently able people now. That's the new terminology. Yes. Yes. To Kato. And the policy had been very, very clear in that wherever government is going to allocate land now, when the policy comes into being, people living with disability have to have a quota in the allocation. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Protect them.
Before we...
Mr. Minister, I want to recognize fundingly, and all in the name of Mr. Abdullah Salah. Mr. Salah, let people see you.
Thank you very much. We are pleased to have him. It's a great honor. Before we go to the final ceremony, the diaspora are watching this program. The program is currently being shown live on at least 5 or 6 channels. That lands are reserved for public parks, for use by our people, particularly the young ones. The second question is, there are no shortage of good policies in the Gambia. What is, however, missing is effective actualization. What plans do you have to make sure that those who are entrusted with implementing these policies are held to account in the exercise of their duties?
The last one and the other one, I will get them to answer. First of all, we realize that managing land and land usage need to have a new vision, a new way of thinking. Based on public demand for the management of land. And educated to be given the skills to come and take over the management of land in this country. While we appreciate some of those that are still manning land, the efforts they have done, we still believe there is a lot of, you can have a strategy, but if the implementer does not have the skills and the will and the ability to do so, you fail. Trying to address these things to make sure our young graduates who have proven, who have shown evidence that when supported, they would excel, to entrust them the responsibility to take over the issue of management of land and usage in the Gambia.
Thank you. What about public parks?
Public parks have become very important for this government. And that's why the recent demolition was centered on public areas that have been taken over by individuals, sold illegally, and given away to people. Without parks, our youths, our children will have nowhere to recreate. And that is part of development. People's welfare, their level of happiness, their ability to go somewhere and recreate, march together, stay together, dance together, is part of development. And that is element that is missing. It's not only about building story buildings. It's about also creating an atmosphere where they can meet, they can gather, they can exchange, they can dance, they can merriment, and be part of a society that's a happy society.
Thank you very much. Final set of questions, one from this end and one from that end. I'll take the lady, unfortunately. I'll not take more questions. One lady, and do we have anybody on that side? And then Balanding.
Greetings everyone. My name is Mariama Mjai, a third-year political science student. My question reads, Honorable Minister, how do you plan to involve the youth and women in regional governance and land decision-making processes? Thank you.
Balanding, finally.
Good evening, Honorable. My name is Balanding Jata, a second-year student, Diplomacy and International Relations, UT. Thank you. Thank you. Civil Service University. New land policy. How will the new land policy ensure fair and transparent land allocation for ordinary citizens?
You see, as I said, the issue of land management, it has to go back to professional bodies that will determine. If you give it to the minister, the crisis we face today in Bruce B. Salaji will be the same thing. When the Land Administrative Board, Allocation Board, these were experts from various walks of life who will sit down and determine who should be given this piece of land, who should not be given. Single-handedly to determine who should get and who should not get. I believe 99% of the problem will be addressed.
Thank you. And then the question was about how do you involve young people in local governance decision making and land issues?
I'll give Sisao to answer that question.
Thank you very much. I think during your presentation, Honorable Minister, you did talk about the fact that the has been reviewed. And essentially what we try to achieve through the revision is to not only to empower the councils, but also the youth involvement in the local governance is also something that is going to be critically embedded in that act. So in a sense, progressively, we are trying to review the Local Government Act in order to empower the councils, but also to improve communication between the ministry and the councils, but equally to involve the youth participation in the local governance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That comes very close to the end, but before we end, I'd like to give you 3 to 4 minutes Wolof, just to summarize what we've discussed here today, but also a message that you have for the public, Honorable Minister. In Wolof, please.
Can I use it?
Yes.
gërëm ñëpp sant leen bu baax kontaan lool ci ministre bi ak ministère ministre Abdoulaye Sall ak ñeneen nekk ci mbooloo mi kilifa yu mag xàmmee naa leen ñun amuñ dara lu réew mi réew bu tuuti bii lañ amul fenn fuñ mun a dem maa ngi fi bu leen nangu ñun pour use leen ngeen nekk ci mbedday di tampongante ne tey damaa liggéey am dara lu ma yóbbul suma yaay lu ma yóbbul suma jabar lu ma yóbbul suma si ku nekk bu xëyee na nga dem uti loo am te lépp looy am te ñun dëkk bii dafa tuuti te dañ fi dalal gan yu bare bare suñ biir mi ñu jublu si liggéey balaa gaay ji liggéey bi nangu suñu réew mi suñ loxo waaye nga eew tiim baraada ataaya ma yóbbu fen gannaaw la lay delloo Ousseynou lu jox kenn dépasse Amad ba noon yow yaay liggéey lu jox sa dépasse sa njaboot di leen dundal bon li am solo man bët bu set man maay dem jëndi jën tànje man maa daan duggi marché maa tudda réew yi ñoo koy def ñu ngi liggéey nothing less than $5,000-6,000 a day dem leen fa tànje tey suñu moromi góor yi ñu nga taxaw fële di weerante mais di nga fekk jigéen ñu nga waas jën bu ñu waasee ba pare du Gambien see koo téye léegi de dem leen foofu li maa wax dem ngeen gisal ko seen boppa tey soo buggee maçon Gambie fii amuloo ko fi suñ doomi réew yi toog si banta bàyyi di waxtaan di xuloo di saagawante lebres tey doo ko am réew du demee noonu foog ñu liggéey ñu jàpp te nañ bàyyi bañante bi soxorante bi ku nekk nag bugg a moromam bugg a réew mi ñu liggéey ñun suñ taay tey mun na nekk ay léegi ñu jógee fi ngeen toog waaye na fekk na ñu ngi bokk a yéene defar suñu réew maa ngi gërëm ñëpp gërëm consultancy
Thank you very much, everyone, senior government officials here, minister, directors, but particularly a big thank you to the Honorable Minister Hamad N.K. and DPS. They did a fantastic job, outstanding. Members of the press, but today I cannot end this program without singling out. I don't think the Minister of Information would be doing what we are doing. So Aruna, thank you very much for your support. We appreciate it. And thank you. Next week, I think on the